Hello, I'm Zanzi. Welcome to the best preview show in the land, where, of course, we break down what happens in the Easter weekend and as far as games across the country, I should say. We'll also be breaking down the DStv Premiership with Jerry Skosana a little bit later on. And, well, to start it off, we do have Shane McGregor. We talk what's happening out in England. The scramble for place is very much alive, but the game everybody was talking about, Arsenal City. What a game.
Yeah, a very good game for Arsenal. You know, they went out to get the point, changed the way their style of playing, played a little bit more defensive, and got the job done. I understand, you know, where people say City haven't been beaten at home. It's this, that. We went there just to get a point.
Yeah.
They got it. Can you imagine if they played their normal game and they got a victory over Man City, what it would have done?
Yeah.
But anyway, it didn't happen. They got the point they wanted and kept their hopes alive.
We spoke about the importance of playing first in that day for Liverpool to try and put the pressure on those two teams. They did the job 1-2-1. They're now sitting top of the table at Liverpool.
Yeah, Liverpool got the job done. I always thought they were going to get the job done.
Yeah.
And, you know, but it is important to play before, so you put a little bit of pressure. Though, when you're at that level, you don't even take notice of those games.
Let's talk about the results of the weekend, or the game of the weekend. 7 goals served up between Newcastle and West Ham. We looked forward to this game and thought it could entertain. They did more than entertain.
Oof, more than entertain.
Yeah.
But that's Newcastle for you at the moment. You know, they're conceding goals, but they're scoring goals. Very late winner, got the winner 4-3. I mean, that's brilliant. And they're also fighting for that spot up there. They want to be in Europe again. You know, they've had a taste of it, so they want to be there. But what a victory. I mean, it just shows you their never give up attitude. They got those type of players where the guys will fight until the last minute. And I watched them midweek again as well. You know, they don't know how to give up, and they just keep on fighting. Yeah,
two great sets of supporters as well for both those teams traditionally. Just great sets of supporters. Let's talk now the race for top 4, so to speak, with Tottenham and Villa. Well, they both win and keep the pressure on each other.
Well, that's the whole thing. You know, it's going to go, as I said, everything's going to go to the wire this year. The top 3, the 4 down to 8, and the bottom. But the big victories for both teams. They needed to get the victories in. They needed to get the wins. The pressure's going to keep on going like that. You know, Spurs are one of those teams that are blowing hot and cold at the moment. Villa, we all know about them. They've had a tremendous season, above expectations. This 4th position will go down to wire. There might even be a 5th team going into Champions League. So we'll have to just wait and see what happens there.
Now, let's look forward. Let's start with what's happening tomorrow, the big game, of course. Manchester United fan, Liverpool fan here. And that's the big game, of course, where you and I...
You got that wrong. I'm the Liverpool fan, you're the Man United fan, just by the way. Look, Man United are crowing about they beat us in the FA Cup 4-3, and they beat us,
we
got the job done.
We beat you.
You know, that doesn't matter. You can't look into that. You've got to be looking at this game. Man United are fighting for their lives. They're so up and down. They like to play the big teams, though, which is a big thing. But Liverpool will know what they have to do. They have to keep going to stay in their title race. You know, so a very difficult one to call. I can't see Man United winning it, but I can't say that Liverpool win it. I think a draw might be on the cards. One thing you will know, that all Arsenal and all Man City will be supporting Man United for the first time in their life, hoping to get a result.
Now, important game for Crystal Palace. They're at home against Manchester City, and that's all happening today, of course.
No chance. Man City will win. Simple, over and done with. Let's not even go any further. Man City will win.
A game I'm looking forward to, of course, is a Villa up against Brentford. Again, we spoke about Villa and how well they're doing this season. Can they keep it going right up until the end of the season, though?
I think they can. You know, they've shown also the fighting spirit. They come off a defeat midweek, which is a bit of an eye-opener for them. They've got to change things. I think this game's going to end in a draw. Brentford have been draw specialists of late. I think this will be in a draw, and Villa will drop points again.
Talking about dropping points, Arsenal away. Could they drop points against Brighton? You won't see that happening?
No.
Even though Brighton are at home?
Even Brighton.
What do you think of Brighton's playing style?
Also, been up and down. They've been one of those teams where, you know, they sold a lot of players and it's come to bite them. Arsenal know what they have to do. They're going to go out with their attacking game. You know, they might concede a goal or whatever, but they're going to score a few more. I think Arsenal will get the victory done. Now,
Tottenham in the top 4 race up against Forest. Forest have had their problems this season.
Forest need the points big time in this, but you know, once again, I can't see them getting out of this game. I think Spurs know what they have to do, and they'll go out and get the result. But Forest are in trouble there, in that bottom area where it's now becoming a big quagmire, and if they don't get points here, they're going to be struggling along and looking at other results around the league.
I'll tell you what, so the Liverpool fan here sitting here will be getting lots of calls for me as we United fans will be hoping, of course, to be the banana skin for Liverpool that might just see them, get out of the championship race. So
don't put your phone off on Sunday.
I won't. Let's keep this moving along. On the other side of this, we discuss the local game with Jerry's Kasana.
Check these guys. Let's show them how it's done. I see it. Let's have a
your feet like this.
Let's see how you play.
Move your feet like this.
Welcome back to Game On as we keep things moving along, and of course we say hello to Jerry's Kasana of Mamelodi Sundowns. Well, they've continued their unbeaten run to a whopping 43 games. Jerry, raising the bar. These guys are raising the bar and they continue to do so.
Yes, it's like they're playing their own league, not here in South Africa, you know, because
against themselves, yeah.
they're just playing against themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at the record that they're breaking now. They've got 49 points in 19 games. They're still fighting against themselves in terms of the record, because the last time they had 20 games, 52 points. So now if they win their next game, they catching their own record. So, hey, man, the Sundowns, no, man. I think there must be something that needs to be done in the DStv Premiership against Sundowns.
Let's talk about umsebenzi wabo behind the scenes. I mean, now the Nedbank Cup as Africa, and they're still doing so well, still maintaining this unbeaten run. Behind the scenes, what's it us?
Yeah, it's serious. I mean, if people think of maybe just because they've got resources, I don't think it's that. It's the attitude of the players, the coaching ability as well. Because if you look at Rulani and you look at the number of players that Sundowns have, I mean, they are consistent in any a given situation in terms of football. So you're looking at the approach and the attitude of the players, and the into is right in terms of players. Because team, they've got quality players individually, but the Sundowns in Abo, but Bonabadala as a team work. So into I don't know. But if Sundowns continues, let's hope the other clubs will follow suit.
Sure.
Because this is what we want to see happening.
Now, talking about clubs that will be looking to follow suit, Nike Meshisai, out in the Eastern Cape, Ichipa United. Now we've always talked about what they're doing out in East London, but they've had problems against Kaizer Chiefs. Chiefs has dominated them in recent times.
Yeah, but I mean, if Ucheka, when I see the off late, Chiefs record, it's not.
So Chipa was looking at them thinking...
Yeah, you know, that's sometimes the confidence of a small club being visited by a so-called drama team that is not doing well. So obviously the morale of the players, the coaching staff, they will always motivate to say, look, these guys are coming, yes, we do give respect to them, but they are not in a good mood. So let's make sure that we add a salt into their wounds. So yeah, it's going to be something that is good for Chipa in terms of motivation, but let's hope Chiefs as well. They wouldn't want to go like 3 games without a win, you know, because it's going to be something that hamper their reputation.
Kevin Johnson, is he under pressure? Is the pressure starting?
For Chiefs, look, it's people don't talk about points and how many games they've played. They always want to look at the position that they are in. So in position Abaguyo, it's just below there. So most of the people are not happy. You know, this is a glamour team. They need to be competing against Sundowns. You're also looking at the other teams with that magnitude that are not giving it to the league. Because so much spooky league, man. It's like we're saying, let's look at number 2 until the team that gets relegated. Because number 1 is just dominant and is just far above the rest. So kuba ile league le eba nama questions of why la amanye ama-team alapha kanti? Because now i-Sundowns iyazenzela.
Here's two teams that I enjoy watching play, especially this season. Stellenbosch, of course, fighting for a number 2. Adalana team imnandi, man, it's
Hey, you know, that one,
yeah,
it's not going to be just a game.
No,
it's not going to be just a game. Remember, both teams, they want to be second, and that gives you a passage to the Champions League in Africa. So that's why I'm saying maybe that's the prize, that from number 2 until the bottom, if you don't get relegated, you're going to be fighting for.
Sure.
Because it's just to get to the Champions League, and yeah, I think that's what is happening with our league. That's why I said the league it's different, man, because of Sundowns.
Now it's the Champions League. It's SuperSport United. They've done so much in the past, but now, but they've got a tough game. It's on their day they can beat just about anyone, maybe barring Sundowns.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
And the first round when they played in Mbombela, I think SuperSport had 3 points coming from Mbombela. So now I don't know, because inconsistency is SuperSport. Because when they play these teams where we're saying a SuperSport might lose or whatever, then they just compete. But now we're looking at TS Galaxy. We don't know what they're gonna give, but I hope it needs to be something that motivates them to say we also want to be in the Champions League, just gunning for that second spot.
Well, they'll be gunning for that second spot. I'll tell you what, the likes of Royal AM will also be fighting to get away from the bottom of the log table. Let's not forget the fight to get into the top 8 as well. It's an exciting time in the season, and the battle for second spot in the DStv Premiership very much alive and kicking. Stay with Game On as while we continue with a special interview on the other side of this. Welcome back, Zanzi. Now, as you know, over the Easter weekend is tradition in South Africa, of course, to enjoy our football, enjoy the different sporting codes. It's no different out in HARRYSMITH, where Hollywoodbets gave back to the community in ensuring that they not only enjoyed their football, but other sporting codes as well.
HARRYSMITH. While that name isn't always top of mind when it comes to South African football excellence, just like any other town in our country, it's a key part of the football ecosystem. And where there's football, there's Hollywoodbets.
One can forgive people for thinking, why HARRYSMITH? Because most people know HARRYSMITH as a stop to the next destination. It is an important part of our economy, of our football economy. It's at the intersection of 2 major highways that connect a lot of our provinces. It borders KZN and Gauteng. It also interconnects the N5 and the N3, which are major highways in our country's economy. For us, it's important as a brand to be in every part of our country, because we strongly believe that all our people deserve a chance.
HARRYSMITH is my hometown. We have a beautiful facility here, and the inspiration also came with the issue of giving a lot of these young guys from underdeveloped areas opportunities to participate in sports and have more focused sports development. The main aim of the foundation is actually to build the structures of sports, from administration, the refereeing, the organization. So that's where we are at. Then the talent and the teams and the coaches becomes an added on. So that's what our foundation is trying to close that gap in mostly black communities.
The HARRYSMITH Easter Championship is a vital cog in the region. 8 senior men's teams compete for the title in a top 8 knockout competition, while other youth sports are on the go.
Easter is a religious holiday, but football is a religion. So for us as a brand, as a family brand, as a brand that believes in family and that believes in the spirit of Ubuntu, it's important for us to touch the communities when they are most in need.
So simply, Hollywoodbets brings, one, the attention to what we're doing, but Hollywoodbets is the main beneficiary of developed sports in general, as part of their business model. So it makes sense for us to work with them and also to show the kids here, to say the goal is not just here. The goal is out there. An international brand like Hollywoodbets being here begins to show what kind of a vision we are having for what we are trying to do here.
The tournament was a real success, and not even a bit of rain could put a damper on proceedings, with White City FC being the victorious team on what was a truly special occasion, proudly powered by Hollywoodbets. At the top of this insert, we asked why Harry Smith. The simple answer to that is, why not?
Welcome back, Mzansi. Now, as we mentioned a little bit earlier, over the Easter period, it's tradition in South Africa to have Easter games where we celebrate the game of football and other sporting codes. And out in HARRYSMITH, it was no different. I have the absolute pleasure of introducing Mr. Msebezi Dladla, organizer, of course, of the HARRYSMITH games. Thank you so much for your time, Baba. Let's talk about the HARRYSMITH Easter tournament, how it starts, and the thinking behind it.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me on studio. Well, how does it start? It starts as a passion that one has had growing up in an underdeveloped area.
In HARRYSMITH?
In HARRYSMITH.
Yes.
Played in the same field when there was nothing. There was no poles, there was nothing. It was just a rough patch.
Yeah.
So that's the inspiration. Football brought discipline and order into my life. And most probably with God's favor, I was gifted academically.
Yeah.
And at some point I left it, went to university, pursued a qualification as an environmental scientist and later on qualifications in business. But the football never left because that's the one thing you knew. I was fortunate that the township I came from, it's a mix and balance of different population groups. So we would play a bit of tennis, and later on when you're in business, you play a bit of cricket, you play a little bit of golf. So overall, I've been a sport person. When I was in university, I was the SRC for sport. So sport has been part of me. I think later on, as one began to understand the transformation laws now in business, was that my companies had to do a contribution for socio-economic development. Now, you could simply do it as CSI and send money and say, I spend money. Yeah. It doesn't really make an impact. No. So over time, when so every December, we black people, we go back to the township. And when you're there, you then realize your friends say, hey, because the township is that you can play sports, but if you didn't really make it, you only make it with the education. So the guys that did not really get to be fortunate like us with education, it means they're stuck there. Yeah. Then the part for me was simply try and do structured socio-economic development programs and include sport.
In the interest of time, I was going to ask the teams involved, the sporting codes involved. Tell us more about that.
So where we started, it's simply the sports that everyone plays. It's football, but I've always been clear, you cannot develop football alone. So we included netball, we've included volleyball, basketball, as well as tennis. So these are the first 5 sporting codes we focused on.
Now, the response from the community, I believe it's your second year now, and also how Hollywoodbets is helping aid you in your mission statement, so to speak.
The mere fact that we're here, it's all because of Hollywoodbets. Yes. So we could still remain a small town doing something like most small towns in the country do. But I think the partnership with Hollywoodbets is allowing us the platform to show and probably encourage other communities to lift the whole aspect up and try to create a localized sports economy. So the intention for what we've done now as a foundation is a localized sports economy.
Now, we spoke a little bit earlier. You were speaking about also developing skills in the area through your Easter tournament. Talk to me more about that.
So one of the first things that I think even with the local organizing committee I worked on was to simply say, you first need to develop administration skills. So for any sustenance of any program, for the sustainability of what we are doing, we need to develop a clear administration process. So we are lucky to have a team of 12 youngsters, people younger than 40, who are working and participating in this, and they get to be paid stipends from our foundation. And then from then, the second layer is you need to develop the owners of the teams. You must then develop the coaches of the teams. You must then develop the referees and the umpires. Then lastly, which is what everyone tends to try and focus on, the players. I believe if you approach it in that way, you provide more structure to the long-term sustainability. Because the players tend to graduate like myself. I played, but when I was 17, I went to varsity.
Then for sport was a second half.
Yeah, same with me, growing up so, and same with very many others throughout South Africa, of course, that move on beyond the game of football. But nice to see, a gentleman who goes back to his community and develops more than just the football through a football tournament, of course. Mr. Dada, thank you so much for your time, and long may your success continue out in Harrysmith.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, with that comes the end of yet another good game on show. We would like to thank, of course, the guests that have come through during the course of the day. And, of course, thank you at home for having joined us. Now, before we go, we here at Game On would like to, of course, extend our thoughts and prayers to the Fleurs family after Luke Fleurs, of course, had passed away in that untimely incident during the course of the week. Our thoughts and prayers very much with the footballing fraternity out at Kaizer Chiefs as well. And, of course, the Fleurs family. With that, until next week, join us on SABC1 again.